And someone who we can welcome to the first time here at our church, is Miss Lexie Hull. Folks, can you just welcome Lexie?
Never expect. A local church in Indiana. She sat down for what turned into one of the most honest conversations of her career. This wasn't just another interview. It was personal, unfiltered, and unexpectedly powerful.
So excited that you are here, and obviously you are someone who is at the center of so much of our community pride. We are loving what is happening in the Fever in terms of success and just excitement around this.
After a breakout season with the Indiana Fever and a championship run in Miami with the Rose Basketball Club at Unrivaled, Lexie returned to Indianapolis with a story to tell about pressure, patience, and the truth behind life as a rising star in the WNBA. No scripted answers, no media polish, just Lexie front and center, saying out loud what most athletes only think in private. So, what did she reveal about the Indiana Fever? And why is her mindset turning heads before the new season even starts? Stick around, because Lexie Hull didn't hold back. And this time, it's not just about basketball. I think playing for the Pacers was a great experience.
I think the Pacers is a great experience. I think right now the Fever is a better experience. And anyone just been to a Fever game and you're like, man, that's great basketball. And I think what you girls are doing is great. And shout out to the Pacers. I know some of you are in the room working here thinking, hey, that's my...
Before Lexie Hull even said a word, the energy was electric. Sitting across from Pastor CJ at Northview Church, it quickly became clear this wasn't your typical Sunday guest. Then came the praise. How Lexie, through both her game and her presence, had become a symbol of community pride.
Up with Caitlin Clark, and now it's like overnight you go from ordinary girl just living passionately pursuing a dream to now I'm famous and most of my interactions moving forward.
But it wasn't all serious. Far from it. Pastor CJ couldn't resist teasing Lexie about her rising fame. Lexie smiled, a little shy, but clearly enjoying the moment. She tried to brush it off, but the truth was clear. In Indiana, Lexie Hull has arrived.
I would say in the Hoosier state, just know anywhere you go around here, girl, you're famous.
Well, thank you.
Folks, is that fair? Like, you are going to have to hide for someone in this state not to be like, hey, Lexie Hull's right there. So
the banter had everyone laughing. But beneath it all was something deeper, respect. This wasn't just about fame or highlight reels. It was about how Lexie's story, her work ethic, and her heart had captured the city's attention. And it set the perfect tone for everything she was about to share.
Tell me just what has the transition to Indiana been like?
It's been awesome, and I think, I moved here 3.5 years ago when I got drafted in 2022, and I think the first thing I noticed was the community just welcomes me and welcomes the Indiana Fever, everyone that comes in with open arms. So we're really grateful to be here. And as I've been here for 3 years, I mean, it's just incredible to see the growth and the growth of the support of our team over the course of the few years. And watching this video, I mean, it makes me so excited to be back in Cambridge this season, right around the corner. So it's been awesome.
Lexie Hull's move to Indiana wasn't just a career change. It was a leap into the unknown. Drafted in 2022, she landed in a new city far from home and immediately felt something different. Welcome. And as the seasons went on, that connection only grew stronger. It makes me so excited to be back in Cambridge, she added, already fired up for the new season.
So talk to me just about, how would you summarize some of that journey?
It's been a journey. I think that's a really just perfect word for it. Being at Stanford, being there for 4 years, my best 4 years, I would say, of my life. Wouldn't trade it for anything. Coming here, first time being away from family, first time playing basketball without my twin sister, so that in itself was the transition. And then also, first year, my rookie year, we won 5 games. Lost more games than I'd have in my entire life. So then you add in being alone with loss.
But getting to this point was anything but easy. Lexie called it what it was, a journey. From 4 unforgettable years at Stanford, where she won a national championship and played every game alongside her twin sister, to stepping into the pros without family by her side, everything changed. Her rookie year with the Fever was tough. We won 5 games, she said bluntly. More losses than she'd ever faced in her life, all in one season. 2 head coaches, constant changes, no rhythm. For a while, she lost the joy we now all know and love about her.
In multiple places, had 2 different head coaches. That whole year was just like, what am I doing? Like, this is not that fun. Now to last year, just the growth of it is insane. And I wouldn't have expected it. It's so awesome because it's been such a journey. And to play in sold out arenas across the country, to see people with my number on their chest, I mean, it's just surreal. So I'm just really grateful for the.
But she didn't back away from it. She grew from it. Fast forward to 2024, and Lexie Hull's journey had completely transformed. Packed arenas, her name on fans' jerseys, playoff basketball, a standout season with Indiana, and of course, a rookie named Caitlin Clark who eventually became her closest friend. That shifted everything. She didn't just make it through the struggle, she mastered it. It's unbelievable, she said. And it's clear that this version of Lexie was shaped by the tough moments. Lexie Hull's rise to prominence didn't just earn her respect. It sparked admiration in places she never anticipated. From families who once cheered against her to young players now looking up to her as a role model, Lexie's influence was undeniable. Even the pastor's wife, a proud Iowa native who once supported Stanford because of Lexie and her sister, was now a fan. That's the level of influence she carries now, shifting loyalties, inspiring the next generation, and turning admiration into a lasting legacy.
Like, how are you going to pick Stanford over? And it was because, one, she liked you and your sister. And Kristen is a trash talker, and don't judge her for this statement, but when you're talking trash in the heat of competitions, you sometimes say things. And she goes, one day we're watching one of your games, and you guys do something, and she's like, bam, pretty girls can hoop too. And I loved it. And that was her bias initially, and now it's funny because our daughter Riley, we were talking about, looks up to you in terms of play. And so sometimes you'll hear someone say, hey, play like Lexie Hull, right? So you are just highly admired in our household.
Behind the highlights and hype, Lexie Hull's journey has been anything but effortless. As her visibility soared, so did the pressure, from fans, critics, and most painfully, from within. That early belief we're all taught, that hard work will lead to results, begins to fade when you reach the pros.
Su dans lit, progress isn't straightforward.
Results aren't immediate. And that's when Lexie learned her toughest and most valuable lesson. Patience isn't weakness, it's strength.
What has been the journey and experience in terms of pressure? I mean, that's got to be insurmountable. You start to commit to disciplines, habits, routines. You sacrifice a ton. Mm-hmm. There's a burden that comes with your blessing, right? Talk to me about navigating pressure.
It's a big part of the game. And I think, when you're playing early on, you can say that work ethic will get you everything that you want. And there's very much truth to that. But then there's also a piece when you get to this level that mental toughness is an even bigger piece.
What most people don't see is how quickly the game changes off the court. One quiet night, one missed shot, and the feedback is instant and harsh. Every performance lives online, every moment replayed. The weight of expectations can feel overwhelming. But Lexie has learned that not every season is about success. Some seasons are about growth. Quiet, steady progress beneath the surface, with no applause. And that growth takes time.
Have people from everywhere commenting on your success and your failures and whether you belong, whether you don't. And so I think you have to believe that you are enough, and you are loved, and everything that you do, your sport doesn't define you. And I think that's something that you learn as you get into this job, is that the season will go up and down, and just to maintain strong, and everything works out exactly how it should, and you have patience in that process, in that journey. And I think that's just something that, as a rookie, you just want to go in and you want to do really, really well. And that's not that easy. And it's a big jump in the level of the play and level of the game. And I think you just have to keep putting in the work and keep working hard, and eventually, things work out exactly how they are supposed to. So just trusting that process.
Instead of rushing the process, Lexie is learning to trust it. She's filtering out the noise and focusing on the voices that lift her up instead of tearing her down. Now, she decides who gets access and who can influence her life. Through that clarity, she's found space to breathe, grow, stumble, and rise again, without needing instant validation.
And the fact that you live instantly scrutinized and with instant feedback and commentary that comes with no filter.
Instant.
So how is she handling it all? With grace, grit, and yes, patience. Lexie isn't just showing up to play. She's showing up to grow, even when no one's watching. That quiet strength, that willingness to wait for the right moment instead of forcing it, might just be her greatest move yet.
We've really accelerated in some areas in terms of culture. For most of us, we will never experience that type of pressure.
Yeah, I think it's so hard because we're our worst critic already. And then you go online and a lot of times people are almost as mean. And it's insane because all we're doing is try to put out the best product that we can. And sometimes it's not as good as you expect. So I think just giving everybody grace and I mean, we're doing our best, and sometimes you're gonna love it and we'll hear it, and then sometimes we don't, and maybe we don't need to hear it. But yeah, it's hard. And I think that that's definitely part of the job that you don't really think about, but it's a piece that's there.
Amid all the noise and pressure, Lexie Hull shared one piece of advice that stood out. Only take opinions from people you'd actually take advice from. It sounds simple, but in a world where every voice wants a say in your life, it's a game changer. It's how she protects her focus, not out of arrogance, but to avoid overload. Because when you're building something real, you can't let every random critic redesign your blueprint.
I think you learn, I would guess, that the critical necessity of attaching the right weight to the right words. Right? When you understand that most words you hear are empty, shallow words. Mm-hmm. That's not to say you live with some jaded view of humanity. It's just to say, no, trust is a real necessity in my life. Who are the people who I am going to give access, am going to give authority to say, no, you can coach me, correct me, speak in, because you still need that as someone who's going to pursue elite goals. It's like, okay, how do you safeguard unhealthy pressure? But then how do you facilitate a productive pressure?
I think I got advice once that I think is really important, and it was only take opinions from people you would take advice from. And if I wouldn't take advice from a lot of the people online that are saying the negative things. So it's hard, but try not to listen or read them or think that they mean anything, because really they don't. You don't care what they have to say if they were giving me good advice or bad advice, so I shouldn't listen to the opinions of them either.
For Lexie, the blueprint this year is all about being grounded in patience but fueled by trust. She's not asking for guarantees, just space to grow without forcing results. That mindset isn't just helpful. It's rare, especially when expectations are sky high, the roster is stacked, and the spotlight is only getting hotter. But Lexie isn't chasing the moment. She's letting the moment come to her.
Obviously, you can't be where you're at if you're not a principled person. It takes a great deal of devotion to say, all right, I'm pursuing a measure of excellence. That's pretty daunting. You know, what would be the driving principle in this season for you, where it's like, this is the mindset I'm trying to develop in this season?
I think just being patient. I think that's, throughout my career, that's kind of been the thing that I've really trying to get better at, and it's something you can always get better at, because you want something now, you want something in the moment, in this season.
That's not just something she says, it's something she believes. This season, she's doubling down on doing the work, staying ready, and letting the results unfold when the time is right. Because for Lexie Hull, success isn't about speed, it's about alignment. And she's never been more focused.
And sometimes it's not the time. And trusting in the work that I'm putting in, trusting in, the process and the journey of this career, of this season, and in the season of the fever, doing exactly what I can in the moment, but not pushing the limits and not expecting certain things to happen now, because the right things will happen at the right time, and I truly believe that.
Yeah. Well, know that you have a ton of fans and a ton of support, and we're cheering for you, and we believe in you, and we want to see you girls do well.
Lexie Hull didn't just share her journey, she shared her truth. From navigating early struggles to finding strength and patience, from blocking out the noise to trusting her own voice, she's showing us what it really looks like to evolve, not just as an athlete, but as a human being. And in doing so, she's becoming something even more powerful than a breakout star. She's becoming a blueprint for handling pressure, purpose, and growth in the spotlight.
We talked about in the back that when you grow in influence, just your function in the community just is different. The average person can just show up to church for the first time and that just be a normal experience. But when you are Lexie Hull, you just can't show up to church for the
I'm
first
not
time.
famous. I'm telling you that.
Yeah, girl, if you would have just showed up without a heads up, you would have derailed this whole experience. There's some idols in this room, and we are some fans, myself included. I would probably step out of worship if I could get my daughter's autograph for you. So God knows where my heart's at. But hey, we're just thankful that you're here and know that we're rooting for you. And, it was, funny just hearing that you moved into the community and that, hey, you're going to come check us out at church. And so welcome to Northview. We're glad that you're here. Folks, one more time, can you give it up for Lexie?
So if you're rooting for the Indiana Fever this season, don't just watch the highlights, watch the story behind them. Because Lexie Hull is building something special. And the best part? She's just getting started. If this inspired you, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let us know your favorite moment from Lexie's journey in the comments. There's a lot more ahead, and we'll be right here to cover it, so turn on all notifications. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.
So if you're rooting for the Indiana Fever this season, don't just watch the highlights. Watch the story behind them. Because Lexie Hull is building something special. And the best part? She's just getting started. If this inspired you, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let us know your favorite moment from Lexie's journey in the comments. There's a lot more ahead, and we'll be right here to cover it. So turn on all notifications, click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.